It's not about motivation. Winners need discipline. Wake up and win today. Discipline comes from within.
Boxing King Media in association with Boxraw. Delighted to be joined by Stefy Bull in pink at his gym, looking slim and trim.
Always wink. Yes, slim, trim, working out as you do every day, little bit, doing my bits, but yeah, all good, healthy, and enjoying life.
How many winks have you had from boys? You said you're doing pink to make the boys wink.
Jason winks at me every morning, so that's a good thing, isn't it?
Good man. You know, every time I see you, the first thing that comes into my mind is 22-year-old.
22-year-old. I used to tweet it, and while I'm at it, my Twitter's been hacked, so I'm no longer on Twitter. And I'm gutted. But yeah, I used to do...
definitely been hacked? You've not posted nothing dodgy, have you?
No, it's been hacked. Somebody's took it. They've took my Facebook, so that's one less stress, one less browsing, one less annoying people on. But yeah, I used to tweet all the time. Been a 23-year-old world champion when she won WBC. Can't say that anymore. I used to do it with Rihanna as well, 15-year-old, but she's 16 now.
She's 27, that's Terry, isn't she? 27.
Yeah, knocking on now, isn't she? Getting old.
She is 5 years on, mate. You've done a great job for her. Won world titles. I'm assuming made some good money as well. But let's talk about the fight that she's got coming up. Sandy Ryan. I don't think anyone really saw that come out of nowhere. Great fight.
Yeah, fantastic fight. It got mooted. Eddie messaged me after Christmas saying he'd like to do that fight, and then like we never got any more in depth about it. And then he messaged me in like January, and I think there were a date. He must have been away somewhere, and it was late. And he messaged, would Teddy be interested in fighting Sandy on 27th of January? I think a show must have pulled out, so they want to set some up, but there were only like 3 weeks, and it just wouldn't have worked. I said, we'll have the fight, but not in 3 weeks. So yeah, we got a bit of notice. It was a straightforward fight to make. And listen, the facts are that women's boxing is slightly different to men's. There's not the depth for big fights for these women to earn potentially good money. And this has been the rise of women's boxing because they're willing to fight each other. And Terry's been like fighting interesting fights since day dot. I mean, like the Jonas fight, what a first all British world title fight, and that probably made both fighters. It were front pages at Boxing News. It were an headline on one of the cards, and I reckon that's what really pushed and put women's boxing on the pedestal. So Terry, when you sit back and think about it, she's been kind of leading away for all these girls and herself for the last few years now. So yeah, it's proud to be like a part of it and helping Terry build, and like she's changed her life, like you say, in a position to buy herself houses, and you know, she works hard, she's an ultimate professional, and she never says no to a fight. I have never ever had an offer for a fight for me to go back to Eddie and say no. It's how much, when, and try and get the best that we can from that. So she'll just fight anybody, and it is what it is. I live in an era where like staying undefeated and not being in big fights and trying to make money without being in a fight, I think them days have gone. And even like Jason in there is a fine example of, you know, win, lose or draw, there's the big fights can still be there if you're willing to be in them, and if you're a big enough name that pulls in views and puts bums on seats, then make the fights. Why not?
That's probably quite a fair point. Before I talk about the fight itself, because some of the criticism Terry gets is that she's, skipped the weight divisions in between to get the easier fights at the heavier weights. What do you say to that viewpoint?
Well, I mean, I've not really seen or anybody's said that to me, but so where you're at is Terry was super featherweight world champion. Obviously, what happened dead at the weight, the size of her and everything's there to see. She come back from a defeat. We had a standard warm-up fight where you're not as focused, you're not as hungry, you're not as that desire, that hunger in your belly's not there. And the biggest one is when you've been paid world champion money and then you're not getting paid world champion money. It's a big difference. So that were the biggest one. It's like, do you stay at lightweight where you're not fighting Katie Taylor, and you had Chantel in the tournament at super welterweight? Everything's tied up. There were nothing at welterweight, and it just made sense. And an opportunity was mentioned regarding Hannah Rankin, and we just took the gamble of going up all them weights because Terry is a big girl, and obviously she's not a super welterweight. That's there to see. I mean, now she's stopped all the strength work. She's really back down at walking around weight, and welterweight's a good weight. But yeah, I won't class it as dodging anyone. It was just the fact that there were no world title opportunities for Terry to financially earn what she deserves.
Do you think people sometimes maybe struggle to understand that boxing is a business and you've got to make certain moves to make the most amount of money for least amount of risk? Because every fighter does that.
Yeah, boxing is a business. So for viewers at home, it's not a business, it's a sport. So everyone involved in boxing, promoters, managers, trainers, fighters, it's a business. They're getting paid. There's financial gain, reward, whatever you want to put it. So there's money on it. It's a job. So like, if you're a brickie and do you build that wall for X amounts, or there's a wall over there that might be uphill, really hard to get to, but it's 5 times the money for building that wall. That bit crazy, that statistic, wasn't it? But yeah, it's like getting the best monies, and being a world champion is where you get paid, and especially in females, where they're not getting, because it's only 2 minutes, they're not quite getting what the males get, and so yeah, that's the reason why we jumped up. And look, we could have how easy it would have been to say no to Sandy Ryan, no to Terry's got an opportunity to be a freeweight world champion. It's not an easy task, but why are we in boxing? Why me as a coach? Why, we're Sandy fans. I've supported Sandy from day one. There's no beef. There's not going to be. There's nothing. This is a pure business fight. It's an hard fight for Terry, and we get that. She's got an opportunity to be a freeweight world champion, and that's why we're here and taking these opportunities. And whatever happens, she's still world champion at 154. If she beats Sandy, she's got a decision to make. If she don't beat Sandy, she's still world champion. It was a no-brainer.
See, the other viewpoint is that's brilliant business, and it's fair to say as well what you've done with Terry. You've made her a world champion in 2 weight divisions, and now her name's built, it's established, and now putting her in a big domestic clash. So I'm guessing this fight is bigger now than it probably would ever have been. And I think it's fair to say from the shows that Matchroom announced a few weeks ago, it's probably one of the best fights from all them shows.
1,000,000%, and I think so. Like, Sandy's a great fighter. She's got all the GB background and accolades. She's a very good boxer. She's fit, and what I like about Sandy, or you can support her grind. I mean, she just left family, friends, chasing, trying to be the best version of Sandy, going over to America on her own. You can only respect that. There's not. You can only respect that, and she reminds me of like a Terry's work ethic, where they work hard. These are professional athletes, not just fighters, athletes. Everything correct, what they're putting in the mouth, how they train. There's a lot more to just getting in the ring, and it's an all British world title fight by 2 top young fighters that are willing to fight each other, and other fighters should take note from this and be inspired by Terry and Sandy.
Definitely so. I'm looking forward to it. It's actually the most intriguing fight I'm looking forward to from the Matchroom announcements recently.
What about Jimmy Joe and...
I'm going to come to that. So we've got... I spoke to Clifton Mitchell yesterday. He obviously saw the spars where they sparred each other, and he said from what he saw, it's not a 50-50 fight and Sandy wins. So I asked Terry this question as well, and what have you took from them spars that gives you confidence that you guys win this fight?
They were great spars. So it's like... You can put a camera in front of somebody and ask them a question. It's their opinion, isn't it? It's their opinion. So my opinions were they were great spars. Terry did great in some of them. Sandy did great in some of them, and it's a fight. And that's why we're intrigued. That's why we want it, and that's why life's about testing your sense. Why say Clifton's there and he sees that it's said one-sided or whatever. That's great. That's great, because if Terry can go and become a freeweight world champion, it's like, give her that pat on the back. And if can't, we weren't meant to win then, were we?
Like you said, there's loads of other good fights as well. I just want to get to Tasha Jonas. It's the fight that unfortunately never happened, for whatever reasons. Both parties have got their own viewpoints of that. What did you make of her fight with Michaela Mayer? How did you score it?
Well, I didn't score it, but what a fantastic fight, and I thought both girls did great. Natasha started great. First few rounds, she looked like a 25-year-old. She looked unbelievable. Good shape, body shots. And then Michaela, from round 4, I just felt really... Michaela looked the biggest, she looked the strongest. She were really pressing. Her body work were good. It would have... Honestly, I sat and watched that fight on edge of my seat, and I really enjoyed it. Watched it with my wife, and it was good. And... it's hard because scoring's subjective. I mean, it's like it's how you see it, but I just felt that Michaela pressed it that much and really forced it, that if you were picking rounds as it got from middle onwards, I'd be choosing Michaela. But it's subjective scoring, isn't it? It's like when Terry fought Natasha, some people thought Natasha won, people thought Terry won. That's what makes things controversial. But there's 2-minute rounds, then it's hard. But I think I don't want to change. I wouldn't like to see anything change that's not broke. And I think 2-minute rounds is why all eyes are on women's boxing, why it's relentless, why it is exciting. I think if they start going to 3, you'll see more of a stretch from depth, which won't be healthy, and some of the female fights might become a little bit boring, where you can put 2 average girls put together and they'll pitch a great fight because it's 2 minutes and it's relentless, and I think it's great.
I actually agree with you on that. What did you make of, because obviously there was a lot of viewpoints and opinions, and Joe Gallagher said, because he was upset with the commentary on Sky that day, and obviously local guy Dave Coldwell basically he said, why is Dave doing the commentary, why are people like Carl Froch and Matt Macklin not doing the commentary? What did you make of the commentary and just that bit of back and forth between Dave and Joe?
I think Joe's great at all that, isn't he? He's a master at what he does. I don't really have an opinion on all that. I think and he mentioned that Dave's not a good coach or something like that. Dave's accolades show what he's achieved, isn't it? I think you should never take somebody's accolades away from or make out of that. Joe's one of the best trainers, and his accolades show that probably, arguably, one of the best trainers that's ever come out of our country. So Joe's emotionally tied to Natasha like he would be with any of his fights. So it's like somebody's telling one of your children off in school playground. You sometimes go up to other parents and you're not having it, are you? But it's just emotions on big events. But them 2 girls in that fight should be proud, and it's about them at the end of the day, ain't it? Not opinions or anything else.
Definitely. So just a quick one on Joe as well, and obviously he's got the Saudi gig recently as well. As you said, there's a decorated coach. Do you think, I know the people in boxing, do you reckon the fans maybe have kind of forgotten what he's achieved, with all the British champions? He's done a lot. Yeah,
because we live in a modern world with social media, so it's people don't. It's easy to at somebody and give an opinion or give them grief or whatever else. I mean, a lot of it's from fake accounts and things like that. So Joe's too long in the tooth for to worry about what anybody has an opinion on him. He's one of the best trainers that's ever come out of Britain, and not only that, he's experienced at the highest level in big fights and negotiating and things like that. There's probably nothing that he don't know or understand about the game. So good luck to him over in Saudi. I say it's like hope it works out for him. But yeah, there's more to life than boxing. That's one of the things that I've definitely discovered over the last few years, and it's just a job. You shouldn't take anything personal, and I think we should all be supporting each other.
I like this new Stefy. Last thing, Stefy, you've got obviously some good fights. You've got Louis Sylvester in the gym who's taking on the Hands of Stone in Sam Noakes.
Triple G. I like your interview. I watched it the other day. Yeah, same again. I mean, Sam's a great fighter. Obviously, he's on the big stage with Queensberry. He's got a good training team. Nothing but respect. I'm really looking forward to the challenge. Louis is good enough. I've been singing his praises for long enough. We've got an opportunity, and we're here to try and become British and Commonwealth champion, and looking forward to it. But yeah, we'll see how the hands of stone really are. I would say it's his first proper fight against somebody that's really coming to try and win. So yeah, it's going to be a great fight. I'm looking forward to that one, mate.
You've got some shows coming up. Do you want to let us know when they are, what's the headline, and where they can buy the tickets from?
Yes. So before I wanted that, I want to mention the Jimmy Flint versus Campbell Hatton.
I spoke to Jason.
Yeah.
I spoke to Jason about it.
We're all really gassed, because sometimes in boxing, you're in boxing and you've got a kid or fighters at certain levels, and there's levels in boxing. This is why there's championship central areas. You've got your English, you've got your British, and then you move on to European and world honours. And then some fighters, they're at a level that nobody expects them to get any better. Jimmy's had defeats, he's had a couple of draws against journeymen, and like, this opportunity on the big stage against such an iconic name and family, like, is massive for him. It's his world title fight. It's Campbell's first step up, and it's like, this fight is not a foregone conclusion. It's like, you know, you take fights when you think you've got no chance, but you're getting the best financial package for a fight, and then you take fights that's not only a good financial package, but you think you can win this. And Jason's got all the experience in the world. He's been there and done it, and I'm quite astonished of how good of a coach he's been over the last 12 months, because it's not just since he's retired. He's been in and around helping me for the last 12 months. And like, I sit back and I watch, and I'm like, LJ, go on. He's doing a great job. He might end up with all my fighters, to be fair, and take them off me. But he's working on many things with Jimmy. I'm watching them grow, watching them blossom together, and I think Jimmy can win this fight, and everybody believes it. And great fight, same again. Nothing but respect for Attons. I'm good friends with Matt, known Ricky for years, and it's great. And I'm proud that James has got this opportunity on big stage on TV. This is his world title fight, and sometimes I'm 1 minute negotiating world title fights, and then I'm at bottom of the pile negotiating a central area title that I'm more proud and happy for him to have this opportunity on such a big platform. So, yeah. And then your question before I fit that one in was my next event. We're at with Josh Whale, Barnsley Metrodome next Saturday. It's a 9-10 fight card, just local prospects, no title fights on. There'll be tickets on door at night, and I'm just working with Ryan Rhodes. We've got a date in April for Magnus Centre, and I'm going to put some championship fights on that one.
Well, we'll look forward to it. Stefy, thank you for your time, and we'll catch you soon.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Listen, I got a question for you. Where can discipline take you? Discipline points you towards your goals.